Grace, peace, and spoiler alert for the movie Outbreak. My name's Ryan, I'm the movie pastor, and I'd never seen Outbreak before. But it came up on Netflix, it seemed like a new thing, or maybe it's just suddenly gotten popular, and it seemed like a good one for me to watch. I quite enjoyed it. All-star cast, everybody in it is famous now, including some people who I'm pretty sure were cheap nobodies at the time. And it's a interesting movie with regard to its messaging as well. And so that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about what movies say and how we can read them as a text. Unlike a lot of the other movies that I've been reflecting on recently, this is not a moral ambiguity movie. This isn't a movie that deals with the banality of evil and the fact that everyone's morality is complicated and compromised in different directions. This is a moral purity movie in a lot of ways. Sure, there are people who are morally compromised, but they're all the bad guys. So people like McClintock and Billy, they have sympathetic motives. We can see in some ways where they're coming from, but they're wrong. And there's only one person who's really, really right, and that is Dustin Hoffman's character, Samuel Daniels. I like names. He's named Samuel Daniels, Sam Daniels. He's named after two of the most pure prophets of the Old Testament. People who speak the truth to people who don't want to hear the truth. And his compatriot, his partner by the end of the movie in engaging in heroic acts that are going to help the town, is Salt. Salt and light. Salt's there. So Sam Daniels and Salt are uncompromising. They are people who are willing to violate orders. They're people who are willing to put themselves in danger, be personally uncomfortable in order to do what is good and true and right. And we see that in numerous ways, especially in the Sam character. We get to see him interacting with children and his pure heart. We get to see his feelings of compassion and his empathy for the people he cares about. And we get to see his commitment to the greater good, to doing something that is important in stopping viruses. Another thing we get to see in this movie that we don't get to see in a lot of movies is our protagonist fighting to keep himself literally pure. So one of the things that helps our protagonist to get his job done is he makes very, very sure that he doesn't get infected. He checks his suit, and at one point when there's a hole in his suit, that's a big deal. And so he has learned that in order to love your neighbor, you have to love yourself. That there's an important aspect of morality and of being a hero that is self-care. So it reminds me of that passage in James, keep oneself unstained by the world. How is it that we can help people if we aren't able to help ourselves? What good is that to people if we destroy ourselves? And so he has to make very sure he doesn't get sick while also being in and with and involved with people who are sick. Well, what's that mean? What's that got to do with the price of rice in China? Or for us in today's context, what's that got to do with the coronavirus? Well, I find it very interesting. And actually, there's a line early in the movie where Sam says, this is what we have been waiting for. This is what we've been we could spend our whole careers waiting to see a brand new virus. And all of a sudden there's a global pandemic, and we, the world, have the person that we need who is going to fight it. The person who is able to do the things that are needed to get done, even things that are going to get him killed, even things that are going to get the authorities out to get him and want him arrested, want him crucified. I mean, want him to drink hemlock. We don't have to go to Christ. We can go to Socrates. That person has been developed. And so I often think about what it means to be agents of social justice and how boring that has got to look the majority of the time. What if the best thing we could do to help the poor, the best thing we could do to heal the sick, the best thing we could do to bind up the brokenhearted is to learn to be people of honesty and integrity and moral courage and strength, is to spend our time at the gym of morality, building muscles of integrity, so that when the situation comes, not just to do that to build it up and then to have it, because having it doesn't do any good, but to be prepared so that when the moment comes and the world needs you, you exist. You've made yourself that person. How many hours did Sam spend studying medical textbooks? How many hours did he spend in military training? How many hours did he spend dealing with flu viruses and other minor epidemics that didn't have national consequences before he was able to become the person who had enough experience, who had enough knowledge, and who had enough fortitude to stand for a situation when the government can't be trusted, our own bodies can't be trusted, nature can't be trusted, society can't be trusted, even the quote-unquote innocent people in Outbreak are they're infected. They're agents, they're carriers of the contagion, and the only thing that's going to fight it is a good man, is a good person. And how is it that we can be that good person if we understand that it is important enough to do so? It may be that some of you have been working and training and studying and practicing and trying to be good just for a global virus pandemic like this one, and it's your time to shine. For others of you, this might be great practice for a time when the world is going to need you, but I think the message is true, that sometimes when the rubber meets the road, there is nothing that helps hundreds and thousands of people like one person with the courage to do what's right. And I hope I'll see you next time. Let me pray a blessing over you, if I could. God, we pray for courage. We pray for the inspiration of the people around us, the prophets that have come before, including fictional characters like characters from this movie. Help us to be those people as we march forward into an uncertain period of our history. Amen.
And when in